most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today, this video is about, can my herniated, bulging disc or sciatica heal? This is a video that's part of an entire series of videos on sciatica. If you want to see that series, go to bobandbrad.com and look for video programs or series.
Okay.
All right. The short answer to this is yes. Most bulges shrink with time. The symptoms also associated with it: pain, numbness, tingling, possibly burning
Down the leg.
That also tends to get better in most people over time.
Sure.
So this is good news. The body has enormous, what was I trying to say there? Enormous capacity to heal if you allow it. So, and there's a few ways that can happen. But right now, Brad, do you want to just show where the bulging or the herniated disc is at?
Sure. All right. So we've got the spine here, and here's your pelvis, the lumbar spine. The vast majority of bulging discs are in the low back, and actually they're down between these two vertebrae, but actually because the pelvis gets in the way, we're going to show this one, and that's where the model is. So that's what it may look like. The disc is here, it's bulging out, and you can see it's bulging out right by the spinal nerve. This nerve actually goes out and exit goes down through the pelvis and into the leg. And that's why when you have a bulging disc or herniated disc, it puts pressure on the spinal nerve, and the symptoms, the pain, the numbness, the tingling, that's where this is responsible for that. But it goes down the leg, and you can feel it all the way down into your big toe, depending on which nerve is being irritated. So that can be one irritation. Are we going to talk about the stenosis?
Why don't you show the other stenosis right away, too?
Okay.
That's a good time right now.
Now, you could have healthy discs and still get sciatica without that bulge being there, and it's called from stenosis, and that's where the hole, or it's called the foramen, the spinal nerve exits through this hole, and that can get bone spurs. It could be some scar tissue in there. It could be a number of reasons, but this foramen becomes smaller. That's what stenosis means, a gap or a hole becoming smaller. And just because of this hole becoming smaller, that can pinch, particularly with certain movements. Sometimes it gets worse than with others. So that's a second reason.
And that possibly can get better also.
Right, right.
And that can get better by two means. One, we're going to show you how to do nerve flossing.
Sure.
In some of the future videos. And two, you can actually, if you just reduce what we call pain makers,
sure,
the things that are causing pain in your life, sometimes the nerves become less sensitive.
Right, right. Are we going to talk about the piriformis possibility?
No, we won't talk about that.
All right, that's a third potential.
Yeah.
But we're going to focus on, this is the primary issue.
Right. So disc material, that's what we're going to talk about here. Disc material, three things can happen to it. One, it can get reabsorbed. Which is amazing how the body again works if you let it heal. Two, the disc material can dehydrate. So the water comes out of it, it becomes dried up, and it just no longer presses on the nerve.
Right, and then the body reabsorbs this. This doesn't happen in a day or two. This is over.
This happens over time. It happened to my brother-in-law, which was the first time I ever saw that. And number three, in response to the inflammation, the body creates little microphages, which are little like Pac-Man cells.
Yeah, they're chewing away, and
I hope we're not dating ourselves with that.
Doing their job.
Sam, do you know that? Yeah, okay. Sam,
we got a young guy. How old are you, Sam?
He's a
26, and he knows that we're in good shape.
So, but that eats disc material, believe it or not. So, I mean, how cool is that? So
the body is amazing.
So if you can tough it out, during this period of time where you're having a lot of pain, hopefully over time it's going to get better, and better days are ahead.
But one of the reasons it's going to get better is because you're going to change your posture. There's specific exercises, and it's.
I did forget to mention that, Brad.
They can be different for different people depending on where the bulge is. It may change your exercise, and they're called directional exercises. And as therapists, we've witnessed this many times with our patients and myself. I've got rid of my sciatica through specific directional exercises, as well as the inversion table, which we're not going to get into that right now. But
so
they're not just going to get better. Well, they can get better without specific exercises, but once you figure out what you need to do, that can really increase the time.
You can move things along.
Yeah, make them less painful.
All right. Thanks for watching.